And then we prepare our casts. So in the front we want it to be about halfway down the teeth, and the back about the same. So we mark this first on the cast. On the lower cast it gets the tin foil tightly formed to the teeth. So we put it on here. There's a little toothbrush that we use to kind of form it. Once again, we're going to mark on the foil just exactly how long we want it to be. Always better to have it a little bit longer than shorter. You can always make it shorter. We also just don't want any undercuts to where we can't get it back off the cast. The upper cast gets Vaseline, copious amounts of Vaseline, especially on the lingual surfaces of the upper cast, to make sure that it doesn't actually get stuck onto the acrylic material. We use these smaller Dappen dishes, and here's the monomer, and here's the powder. To get this out of here, we use the dropper. Don't ever try to pour it; it won't pour well. So we use this dropper, and then so we use one liquid to 2 powder. So pour this in the larger mixing dish here. Pour this in slowly. While I pour, I'm going to stir. Always mix the liquid into the powder. It helps to reduce any bubbles. We don't want any bubbles while we're working. So there's the one, and then here's the second. We want to do this pretty quickly because it starts setting up and as we're mixing. Alright, now we're going to pour this into our former here. Let's see, it's already getting really thick. Should be able to pour it where it's really nice and thin and pourable, but mine's already starting to set up a little bit because I got the fan running. So you can see as it started out really runny, now it's getting kind of thick and stringy. In here, like that. So as it sets up, it'll start losing the stringiness. Now it's not so glossy on the surface. It's starting to get a matte finish there. It's only been about a minute since I actually put it in the former, and we'll see how this one turns out. Now it's starting to feel doughy. Okay, so as I peel this out of here, just kind of bending this, and see how wrinkly it is. We can tell that that's ready to pull out because it's nice and wrinkly. Peel that out, and it's taking the shape nice and long on the lingual, so we have plenty of room to work with. And we're going to mold this to our cast here. So put it right over the top of the cast there, and then I'm going to work it to cover first the lower teeth. We want it to be nice and flat on the top. We use this as our guide. We want to make sure that these front teeth are touching, but we also need to make sure that we cover our mark on the lower cast, so everything's obviously touching on the top, but we need to form it. So I use my fingers on the inside to kind of push this forward and down, and then we like pinch it to where it comes down and covers those marks that we need to make sure that it's actually long enough. So kind of pushing down and pinching. So we're not losing any of the length. We're not pulling it down, but like almost pinching it down to make that crease there. Now we'll use this upper model to make sure that our front teeth are still touching. And in this patient's mouth, everything's fine. We don't have too much of an overjet, so we've got teeth touching there. And at this point, we can even cut off the excess. We've got plenty of excess along the back, or we can wait till we trim it with the model trimmer or the with the large stone wheel. I'm just going to trim off some of this while it's still stringy here, or the doughy stage. Just save us a little bit of time on the back end. Most of the time, like I said, you'll just need to be adapting it to the cast, making sure that the front teeth are touching, they are supported. And we go all the way around, you can see not only are those marks on the lower cast covered, but all the top teeth are touching the cast as well. We've got plenty of excess here. We could even trim a little bit more, but it's going to start to set up here. As it sets up, it gets really warm, and that's how we know that the monomer and the polymer are acting together, because it starts to get warm. And then we wait. Every once in a while we'll just plane this to make sure that these teeth aren't getting stuck on the cast. Hands in the way. Make sure that the stone's not getting stuck into the acrylic and getting attached there, but that's what the Vaseline's for. And we wait. Okay, so when the splint was really warm, got quite a bit cooler. It gets really, really warm to the touch, almost hot. And so now we're going to take this top articulator off. It's already cooled off. Then we take this off. Sometimes it gets stuck. You want to make sure you're not pulling any teeth off when you go to remove the splint. And we can peel off this foil here. Peel off the foil, we get rid of the foil. And then you can see the indentations on the splint from the upper cast. Ideally that would be completely flat, but that's where we're going. So we're going to take this over to the wheel over here, and we'll trim that down quite a bit, just like we did with our bite registration. But you can see this fits. It absolutely covers all those marks that we had made on the cast. It's a little long there. It's definitely really thick on the inside. I don't know if you can see that from the inside. It's really thick in through here. So we'll trim that back down, and I'll show you what it looks like.